So today, boys and girls, we are going to talk about foreground, middle ground, and background. I already had you look at a video, and so hopefully you're a little familiar, but just as a quick review, let's start with this example here. Let's pretend we're walking down the path, okay? The first thing that you come to when you're walking down your path is the foreground, right there in the front. And then as you continue walking, notice how the path is getting smaller when you enter the middle ground. That's about right in the middle of the picture. And then we keep going along. And then look how tiny it is way there in the background. Kind of makes sense. Foreground is in the front. Middle ground is in the middle. And the background is behind everything, or in this case, very, very teeny around the tree line. There we go. We would typically call this the horizon line. All right, Snow, have your moment in the stars. Now let's get you on out. All right, so as you can see, something that is very, very close to you, like snow, for example, is very, very large. And then as it gets further away, it gets smaller, just as our photograph shows. Well, today we're going to be creating our own landscape. Probably a fall landscape would be fairly nice because it's fall right now. So here we are. We have our picture. Now you can either use it horizontally or vertically. It does not matter to me whatsoever. Not in the least. I'm going to start right over here. I probably should be using a pencil, but I think I might have to use a pen today so that way you can see everything. Oh no, and I can't find a pencil. Ah, here's one, but no eraser. So for today's activity, you need pencils and a black crayon, a black pen, a dark colored pencil. Those would all be very helpful. So we're going to divide this into two parts. We have, today will be the drawing part, and then next week when you come, we will be doing the painting part. We'll be mixing to get green and mixing to get orange, and then we're going to move on with crayons or colored pencils or whatever you like. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start with pumpkins. I really want you to think about something that can be orange in your picture. So I'm going to start right here, and I am going to make these pumpkins so big that they are jumping off the paper at you. They are right up there in your face. All right, so here we are. Pumpkin 1. Wow, big pumpkin. He needs a little stem there. There he goes. Not too complicated. Now this one is in the front. I'm going to go ahead and make a second one that's going off the page also. And it's already starting to get a little smaller. There we are. And then let's put in a third one. He's rolling away. And there we are. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put in a little one over here. Oh, yeah, there we are. So these are all very close in our foreground. Now I'm going to go ahead and show the middle ground. So there we are. Now, as I put in my pumpkins in this foreground area, they are going to keep getting a little smaller and a little smaller. So there we are, just like you're at the pumpkin patch. There's one. Let's go ahead and put another one. They're not really growing at this point. The farmers already picked them. So there we are. Now, we don't want to get anything too tiny today, because if it's too tiny, it's going to be very difficult to paint. So I usually tell everyone to keep it about the size of your thumb. So there's one, and then I want to add another hill here. I want to show that the grass or the hills are all going in another direction. There we go, and I'm kind of putting in the fields this way. I grew up in Ohio, so in Ohio you used to see the fields all the time, and you'd see different patterns that they would make. All right, so this one, I might just alternate that with a couple of greens. Maybe I'll do it with brown. I have no idea. I'm going to go ahead and throw in one other little section there. There we go. And that's going to be way far away. And that can be a mountain if I want. Or you know what? I think that looks like a low rolling cloud. I kind of like that as a cloud. I could do that. So let's go ahead. Let's just put in another little cloud. There we are. Now, when you do your sun, please, boys and girls, think about what the sun is. The sun is really just a star. But when we see it during the daytime, it's not that stylized star that you do with a triangle. It's just a circle. So right there, I'm going to put the sun right there in the middle. Now, once I've done that, I can stylize it if I like, and that'll create some other patterns. For instance, I can go just straight out and go all the way off the page, or when I run into something like the cloud there. And I'm coming down and I radiate around. So we could do that. The one thing I'm looking for that we don't do is I don't want to see any crazy things in the sky like those yellow insects. Yes, we don't want that. So I've made one, and this is perfectly satisfactory. Has some clouds, it has my sun, has some pumpkins. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick second one. I don't want your landscape to look like mine. So come up with a couple different things that maybe you want to do. So this time I'm going to go ahead and put a pumpkin in. I really like doing that because that's just me. That's just how I roll. So I really like doing the pumpkins like that. And let's go ahead and have another little guy peek in. So that we have a couple things off the page. And then I'm going to roll around and say, oh, I don't know. Where do I want to put that line? I'm just going to do it like this. So there we are. Oh, there we go. Oh, I think I'm going to put in my lines like this time. So that can be another crop. I can either do it in a variation of green or I can put it in brown. In this one, I'm just going to keep the pumpkins here. Now, I don't have to be real perfect with this because I will be painting them. So there we are. They almost look like apples. That works too. Ooh, well, maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe I want to add some apple orchard too. So here's some trees. I'm going to put in some trees. I always do wavy line trees. That way they look more real. We have a line on top of a line on top of a line on top of a line and a line and a branch and a branch and a branch and a branch and branch and a branch and a branch and a branch. Oh, that looks good. All right, so here's my next one. I'm going to go ahead and do this one and up and up and up and branch on a branch on a branch on a branch. You get the idea. So I'm going to be quiet now. Just keep drawing. All right, so notice that these seem to be bigger here and smaller there. I think that kind of works out with our whole going back into this. Now, this time, I don't think I want to add much of anything. I think this time I'm just going to make it at night. So I'm going to put in a moon. I'm going to put in a big crescent moon. And, oh, I know, I'm going to put in some birds. Ooh, maybe they're bats. Just the little swift kind of ones like this. Doing a little formation, getting smaller as you go. You don't want to fill the sky with birds because then that looks really spooky. Sometimes a little is better than way too much. Now I'm thinking that background still looks kind of boring. So I can add some mountains. I could add those in. Let's go ahead and do that with a pencil. Let's sketch that in. Yeah, I don't like that. Uh-oh, no eraser. Ah, and that's an old eraser. Oh, yeah, I don't want that. What else could I do? Oh, I could put a farm in there. I could put some hills in. Could put some clouds in. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and switch that. Now this time, my clouds aren't going to be the big fluffy rolling kind. They're going to be the really zigzaggy kind. All right. And then, it's a good thing I'm going to have to erase later. So that way my clouds look like they're going back behind everything. I'll be able to perfect that a little bit more the next time we're together. But there we go. Let's go ahead and erase that. I need to erase that. Oh my goodness! Shame on me for not getting all of my tools together. I don't know. Where did that good eraser go? I think I might have used it all. All right. Still not working. Well, that's what happens when you're at home doing your work sometimes. Oh, it's a good thing we're going to use paint, because that'll get rid of that. So let's go ahead and erase that. Ooh, this one works better. So I hope you're getting the idea for everything you can do. Now I have to tell you, boys and girls, you can put in a barn, you can put in a farm, you can put in a tractor. Let's say you're really good at drawing tractors. So draw a tractor. I think that'll work out really well. I like it fairly simple like this, me personally, because we are going to be painting. So don't want it too tiny. Now, before you leave today, I do want you to go over it with perhaps a permanent marker. If you don't have a permanent marker, then use a colored pencil or a regular ink pen or something to that effect. That'll really work out very well. And I know I want these birds to be black, so I'm going to go ahead and make those black. Now, really, the trees, I'm going to leave them alone because I'll probably be painting over everything and then go over the branches with green, or actually go over the branches with brown. That's probably what I'll do. And then add little green leaves to it. We'll talk about that next time. So the major areas where I know there's color differences, like this will probably be a gray or white, and then this will be a really dark blue I want back there. And then I'm guessing I'm going to use like green, light green, green, light green, or I could go medium brown, dark brown, medium brown, dark brown to give it the idea of, getting ready to plant again. Then I have my pumpkins are going to be different than whatever's behind them also. And I could either go with green or brown. That's something that I'm just going to basically think about until we come back and we go to paint it. All right? We will be using watercolors next time, so that way you kind of can plan things out a bit. I should probably go ahead and erase this a little better. I think it's coming out. Although, once I use the dark blue, it really won't matter. And you can see I kind of messed up here and there. That also won't matter because I'll blend that in a little bit. So yeah, I think we're done for now. I would go back through and I would do the same thing to this one. So that I would outline the pumpkins. So with this one, I would probably quit outlining right about there. What if I want to make this green and light green and green and light green and green and light green? What if I mess up? So if that happens, I want to give myself a little wiggle room to be able to make that line thicker, make it different. The same thing up here. I want to keep that a little softer now using just the pencil. What if I mess up? I'm taking the big things that I know I want to be really super duper careful about. I want to keep these fairly white so they appear to be the nice fluffy clouds. I want these to be different kinds of orange. We'll probably talk about red orange, yellow orange, and true orange, and mix it up a little bit in there. So these are hard lines, and these are the softer ones that we can change when we go to paint it next time. So I've given you two different versions today. Certainly, you only have to do one. You don't have to, I don't want them to look just like mine. I want them to look like yours. I want a foreground, I want a middle ground, and I want a background. And it is completely up to you how you make that. All I'm looking for is some kind of foreground, some kind of middle ground, some kind of background. Fall, I think, would probably be your best answer because it's fall right now. Plus, we're going to be mixing for orange and green next time. So, see you then. Bye-bye.